Emily sat nervously at the corner table of the elegant little cafe, her heart thudding like a drum. She had spent the entire week planning this blind date, picking out the right dress, rehearsing cheerful greetings in front of the mirror, and trying to ignore the cruel little voice in her head that whispered she wasn't good enough. At 27, Emily had always struggled with her weight. Not because she didn't try, she had spent years battling diets, exercise programs, even cruel comments from strangers, but because life had thrown her challenges that food seemed to comfort better than anything else. Still, tonight was supposed to be different. She was ready to meet someone who might see her heart before her body. When her date, Mark, finally walked in, Emily's face lit up with hope. He was handsome, in that effortless way some men are, and she could see his eyes scanning the cafe until they landed on her. For a brief moment, his smile faltered. "Emily?" he asked, his tone unsure. "Yes," she said brightly, standing to shake his hand. But instead of sitting down, Mark shifted awkwardly. "Look, I think there's been a mistake," he mumbled. "You didn't mention, well, I was expecting someone different." Emily's heart cracked a little, but she kept her smile in place. "Different how?" she asked, though she already knew. "Someone fitter," he said bluntly, looking anywhere but at her. "I'm sorry, this just isn't for me." And just like that, he walked out, leaving Emily alone, cheeks burning, feeling every pair of eyes in the cafe on her. She wanted to disappear. As she tried to collect herself, blinking back tears, a deep voice from the next table said gently, "Mind if I sit with you?" Emily looked up. A tall man in his 40s, dressed in a sharp suit, was smiling at her warmly. He wasn't movie star handsome, but there was a kindness in his eyes that immediately put her at ease. Sure," Emily said softly, surprised. He pulled out the chair Mark had just abandoned. "I couldn't help overhearing." "That guy's a fool," he said simply. Emily gave a nervous laugh. "Thanks. I guess rejection just stings a little more in public." "Rejection says nothing about your worth," the man said, sipping his coffee. "I'm Daniel, by the way." As they talked, Emily found herself relaxing. Daniel didn't look at her like she was some problem to fix. He asked about her job as a teacher, laughed at her self-deprecating jokes, and told her about his teenage daughter who wanted to be a writer. At one point, Emily noticed the waitress whispering excitedly to her coworker while sneaking glances at Daniel. Curious, Emily asked, "Do you come here often? They seem to know you." Daniel smiled. "A bit. My office is nearby." "Office?" "Yeah," he said casually. "I run the tech company across the street." Emily blinked. "Wait, you're the CEO of Asterisk Tech? The one on the cover of Forbes last month?" Daniel chuckled. "Guilty." Emily stared at him, stunned. Here she was, sitting with a man whose time was probably worth a fortune, and he had chosen to stay with her after watching someone else walk out. When the check came, Daniel waved it off and said, "Actually, could you bring her some dessert? The best one you have." Emily laughed softly. "You don't have to do that." "I want to," he said. Then he leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Emily, life's too short to let someone else's shallow opinion define you. That guy didn't even give himself the chance to see who you really are. But I see it. And it's his loss." Something in his words broke through the wall Emily had been holding up all evening. The tears came, not the embarrassed kind from before, but the kind that happen when someone finally shows you kindness after you've been bracing for cruelty. For the first time in years, Emily felt seen. By the time they said goodbye, Daniel had given her his card. "Not for business," he clarified with a grin. "Just coffee sometime, if you want. As friends." Emily nodded, feeling lighter than she had in months. As she walked home that night, she realized the evening hadn't gone as planned, but maybe that was the point. Rejection had led to a moment of unexpected kindness, a reminder that her worth wasn't tied to anyone's approval. And sometimes, the people who see you when you feel invisible are the ones who change your story in ways you never imagined.